Hello dear student. Today we are going to see the concepts of molecular orbital theory. As we know that why molecular orbital theory is there. So there are lots of drawbacks or failures in the previous theories like VBT, and it fails to explain the structural bonding, magnetic properties, and interpretation of spectra of complexes. Hence, molecular orbital theory were developed. Some of the different atoms combine to form a molecule. You know that the atoms are combined to form a molecule, and that molecule has the less energy than the atoms. So let us see, as in the previous lecture we have already seen the assumptions of covalent bond formation. But how covalent bond form takes place? The sharing of electrons, then concentration of electron density between the atoms, attraction between the atoms. Then, due to the attraction, there is a liberation of energy, and hence the bond form. Due to the liberation of energy, bond form. Then, covalent bond again bifurcate into the two categories. First is a two-center two-electron bonding, and in the two-center two-electron bonding, the we can take example of hydrogen, fluorine, or the heterodiatomic molecules like hydrogen fluoride, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, etc. So here we can take example of hydrogen. So the hydrogen having a two nucleus and both hydrogen share their two electrons. And here the two nucleus are considered as the two centers. So therefore this type of bonding is called as two center two electron bonding. Second type of covalent bond formation is multi-center two electron bonding. So multi-center means more than two centers, means more than two nucleus of the more atoms can form a bond. So here we can take example of boron molecule, or BHB means diboron molecule. For example, B2H6. Now then after there are two theories which explain the covalent bonding, are valence bond theory and molecular orbital. But these two theories having a basis of quantum mechanics. So what quantum mechanics tells us? Electrons in Electron is not a point mass but standing wave train extending around a nucleus in spherical form. So wave mechanics tells us that electron is not a point mass, but it is continuously revolving around the nucleus like a wave train. Then electron denoted as a wave function phi. So this is the wave function, symbol of wave function phi, and wave function describes the atomic orbital occupied by the electron. So what is a wave function phi denotes? It denotes the atomic orbital occupied by the electron. So this wave function, if it is atomic wave function, then denoted by phi. If it is molecular wave function, denoted by psi. So wave function is a solution to Schrodinger wave equation. Then in molecule, electron occupy the molecular orbitals. If it is molecule, then electron occupy the molecular orbital. Wave function describing molecular orbital is obtained by LCAO, means linear combination of atomic orbitals. So wave function describing molecular orbital is denoted by linear combination of atomic orbitals. What do you mean by linear combination? Linear combination means same size, same energy atomic orbitals. If combined, then it is called as linear combination of atomic orbitals. Now, let us discuss about the valence bond theory. So, valence bond theory was developed by the uh, Hitler and London. These are the two scientists. But then after the Pauling and Slater extended this theory. So the valence bond theory is also known as electron pair theory. Let us see some assumptions of valence bond theory. Atoms are combined to form molecules. We have many times discussed the same thing. Atoms, two or more than two atoms, combine to form molecules. And somehow, atoms not lose their identity when form a molecule. So they do not. Atom do not lose their identity when molecule form. So atomic orbitals overlap to form a molecular orbitals. Atomic orbitals, say for example, 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, and 3p. These are the atomic orbitals. So these atomic orbitals of one atom and other atom uh, are overlapped to form molecules. Then, according to valence bond theory, electrons are localized in atoms of molecule. So when molecule form, according to valence bond theory, the electrons are localized in the atom. Then, atomic wave function of atoms forms wave function of molecules. So, two atomic wave functions are combined to form a wave function of molecules. But as these are the assumptions, but valence bond theory itself has some limitations. Are valence bond theory just qualitatively explain the concept of bonding, and it unable to explain interpretation of the spectra of complexes. Again, it fails to explain the detailed magnetic properties of the compounds or complexes. Valence bond theory unable to explain relative energies of different structures. How much energy is have to the molecule which is formed from the overlapping of the atomic orbitals. That cannot be explained by the valence bond theory. In valence bond theory, there is no consideration of splitting of d energy levels. Means there is no consideration of d orbital in the valence bond theory. Again, valence bond theory unable to narrate or explain why some complexes are labile than others. Now these are the some limitations, and if there are limitations, then there is some development. It means there is some need of development. So likewise, the Hunds and Mulliken developed the molecular orbital theory. By understanding some drawbacks or limitations in valence bond theory, Hunds and Mulliken developed a molecular orbital theory. So why there is a need of molecular orbital theory? To overcome to overcome the drawbacks or limitations associated with the valence bond theory. So in valence bond theory, uh, tells us the electrons are localized, and these localized electrons are remains present with the individual atoms. But actually what happened, the according to molecular orbital theory, electrons are delocalized. Electrons are delocalized, and these electrons associated with all nuclei in the molecules. Again, the valence bond theory uh, correctly explain the magnetic properties. So let us see some assumptions of molecular orbital theory. So due to the limitations, drawbacks in the valence bond theory, there is a need of molecular orbital theory. Let us see some assumptions of the molecular orbital theory. Atoms are combined to form a molecule. This is the same assumptions in both theory. In valence bond theory, there is a also first assumption is that the atoms are combined to form the molecule. But from the second assumption, there is a some difference. Second assumption is what? Atom lose their individual character when form molecule. So here atom lose its individual character when it forms a molecule. So molecular orbital associated with molecule as a whole. So what are the molecular orbitals are formed by the combination of atomic orbitals are totally associated with molecule as a whole. Now in this, according to molecular orbital theory, when molecules form, electrons are delocalized. Electrons are delocalized. Please note this, electrons are delocalized in the molecule. Then individual atomic orbitals combine to form molecular orbitals. So here, uh, atomic orbitals combine to form a molecular orbitals once again. And linear combination of wave function of atomic orbital forms a wave function of molecular orbitals. Again, there are some. Now, let us see the comparison between the valence bond theory and molecular orbital theory. So, what the valence bond theory tells us, a atom having a nucleus and electron in it. Valence bond theory tells us the atom having a nucleus and electron remains present in it. But molecular orbital theory tells us that the electron moves in a nucleus of atoms in molecules. So molecules contains the atoms in that electrons are moves around the nucleus. So atomic orbitals are monocentric and molecular orbitals are polycentric. Atomic orbitals in VB, the atomic orbitals are denoted by S, P, D, and F in atoms. Molecular orbitals are denoted as delta, sigma, and pi in molecules. According to VB, atomic orbitals has different shapes and energies. But the molecular orbitals also has the different shapes and energies. Atomic orbitals are arranged according to their increasing order of energy. Now, in both cases, the energy concept is same. Atomic and molecular orbitals are arranged according to their increasing order of energy. But atoms are denoted by, atomic orbitals are denoted by, or phi, denoted by phi, and phi means what? It denoted probability of finding the electrons in atomic orbitals. So phi denotes probability of findings the electron in atomic orbital. Then in molecular orbitals, wave function is denoted by psi. So there is a difference. Atomic orbital wave function is denoted by pi. This is this pi. But in molecular orbital, the molecular orbital wave function is denoted by psi. So psi means what? Probability of finding the electrons in molecular orbitals. Both valence bond and molecular orbital theory follow the above principle for the filling of electron and energy of atomic orbitals. Now, let us see this diagram. This diagram tells us the overlapping pattern of atoms according to VB and according to MO. So let us see the diagram first, or the figure first. Here atom A and B are combined and they combine to form a AB molecule according to valence bond theory. So we can clearly see here the two atoms having a nucleus and they are at localized position. They are at localized positions and we are clearly distinguish the two atoms. But in case of molecular orbital theory, means we can say that in case of valence bond theory, the atom does not lose their individual character. Okay, means we can identify atom A and atom B here. Then in figure 2, the atom A and B, this figure 2 is related to molecular orbital theory bonding method. So here the atom A and atom B combines, means their atomic orbitals combines, And here is the formation of the this one. Here is the formation of molecular orbital. So here there is atom A and B lose their identity when molecule is formed. So atomic orbitals combine to form a molecular orbitals only when they have. But the overlapping of atomic orbital possible when means combination of the atomic orbital possible when they have the close distance. So atoms and their orbitals, combining atoms and their orbitals having a close distance. Then they have the similar energy. They have the similar energy. And third criteria is what? They have the matching symmetry. We know that we usually place in the sign in the orbitals, positive and negative sign, plus or minus sign on the orbitals. So same sign orbitals means symmetric orbitals. So when the atomic orbitals having a matching symmetry, similar energy, close distance, and matching geometry, then and then atomic orbitals combine to form a molecular orbitals. So again here the figure 1 as we discussed earlier, atom A and B do not lose their identity when molecule form, while in figure 2 atom A and B combine and lose their identity when molecule form. So in the next lecture we will see the comparison between valence bond theory and molecular orbit, sorry, comparison between atomic orbital and molecular